Hey guys, welcome back for another one. We got a good one prepared to you today. What we're going to be doing is we'll be doing our quick NFL picks for all of our Week 10 NFL games for the 2024 football season. We're going to break down every single game as quickly as possible. We have a lot of games. We're going to run through them all, try to predict the final score, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders, who's going to win, who's going to lose, and what that final score will be. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, please drop them below, and I will respond. If you are a football fan, if you are a sports fan, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We go over every single NFL game every single week. We do the best bets, and we also do the same thing for every college football game as well, both the top 25 as well as the non-top 25. But let's go ahead and get started running through all of our Week 10 NFL matchups. We have the Thursday night game actually going on while I'm filming this video. So we'll be picking this up with our Sunday matchups, kicking things off at 9:30 a.m. in Munich on the NFL Network. We have our Europe NFL game, the 2-7 New York Giants versus the 2-7 Panthers. This is a battle of the 2-7s. Who's going to get win number 3 first? Right now, the Giants have a 56% chance to win this game. Why not send two of our worst teams to represent the NFL in Europe? It just makes perfect sense, right? The Giants are 6.5 point favorites. The over-under is 40.5. The Giants, as of right now, no matter who they roll out at quarterback, it's probably going to be Daniel Jones. He's definitely not the answer for the quarterback position for the Giants. He's closing in on 1,900 yards, 8 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's played better the last 2 games, but still sloppy play. Lots of turnovers. The Panthers are actually coming off of a win. They're going to be rolling out Bryce Young again, fresh off of a win. Can they keep that momentum going? He's closing in on 700 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6 picks. Keep the turnovers down. The Giants average 15.4. They throw for 191. They run for 115. They're giving up 22.4 points. They don't have a bad defense. It's just they're on the field the entire game. Panthers, they don't do anything good. They only average 16.3. They're giving up 32.6 points a game. Worst defense in the NFL. They do have Chuba Hubbard. He's just re-signed a really good back. And they have Sanders. And for the Giants, they have Lacey. They have Neighbors, a legitimate wide receiver number 1. But there's no one who can get him the ball consistently. The Giants have the better defense. Defense travels. It'll travel all the way to Europe. I have them getting a couple turnovers here. The Giants win this in a close one, 23-20. And then our next matchup at 1 p.m. on Fox, the 2-7 New England Patriots versus the 4-4 Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are riding a 2-game losing streak right now. Obviously, they had the Hail Mary loss. Then they got curb stomped this past weekend. They have a good defense. They need to get things back on track. Rely on that defense to right the ship. We need better play out of Caleb Williams. Started out the season really bad. Then he started getting hot because the offensive line started giving him some time to vertically push the ball down the field. Not so much the last 2 games. He does need to step up. Right now, the Bears have a 73.5% chance to win this game. They are 6.5 point favorites. The over-under is 38.5. The Patriots are going to be rolling with Drake May. Drake May usually does try to keep the turnovers down. He has not been having a bad rookie season in a couple games that he started, but they have so many issues on offense. They average 15.7. They only throw for 153.8. They run for 111. Their defense gives up 24.1. For the Bears, they're averaging 21.5, throwing for 182, running for 112.5, but it's that defense only giving up 18.5 points a game. Their goal is to get things back on track, rely on that defense, make it a tough day for Drake May, get him under pressure, try to force him into some errant throws that you can turn into picks. For the Bears, they have Williams, they have Swift, they have Odunze, they have Moore, they have the better team, they have the defense. The defense should make the difference here. It should generate turnovers second half. I have the Bears getting back in the win column, winning this one 24-16. And then our next matchup we're going to look at 1 p.m. on CBS, the 7-2 Buffalo Bills, one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. They'll be playing the 4-5 Colts. The Colts benched Anthony Richardson last game. They went with Joe Flacco. To me, Joe Flacco, I've been saying it the whole season, he gives your offense more options because he can vertically push the ball down the field. That opens up the underneath game that makes some lanes for Jonathan Taylor. Richardson is just not accurate in any way whatsoever. The Bills have a 65.1% chance to win this game. They are 4-point favorites. The over-under is 47.5. Josh Allen is having an MVP caliber season. He's closing in on 2,100 yards, 17 touchdowns, only 2 picks. That's amazing for a gunslinging quarterback. He's just doing and taking whatever the defense gives him. He's not forcing things this game because he has a run game and he has a defense. And Joe Flacco closing in on 900 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks. The Buffalo Bills, they have a top 10 offense, a top 10 defense. They average 28.9, throwing for 216.1, running for 119.1, and that defense is a top 10 one, giving up 19.2 points a game. For the Colts, they average 20.9, throwing for 194, running for 121. Their defense is giving up 121.4 yards. The Bills defense should be able to keep this game on the road, but you never want to underestimate Flacco. He has the arm still. He can still hit those targets deep. Jonathan Taylor is playing. The guy can run the ball. He can also catch the ball out the backfield. Look for a big game from Pierce. They're going to push the ball to him on third downs, but the Bills just have the better team. They have the elite playoff caliber defense. Josh Allen, Cook, Shakir, Coleman. They added Cooper in. That's the veteran experience guy you need on third and long. I have the Bills offense and their defense together making a difference second half. They win this one 28-20. And then on CBS at 1 p.m., we have the 5-4 Denver Broncos versus the 8-0 undefeated Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Right now, the Chiefs are 8-point favorites. This spread has actually been coming down throughout the week, and the over-under is 41.5. The Chiefs have a 76% chance to win this game. Do not underestimate Denver here. They have a playoff caliber defense. Very good defense. Their offense has its highs and lows. Bo Nix is having a decent season. His first 2 games were really bad, but Sean Payton is playing within his skill set. Short, dink and dunk, accurate passes, keeping him mobile, moving the pocket with him so that he can dump the ball off. But the Chiefs are going to look to shut down Denver's run game, to bottle him up, keep him in the pocket. Hopefully, if you hit him and keep him under a lot of pressure, they're going to get some turnovers. The Chiefs' offense lives off of the turnover, thus they always have the short field because their offense isn't really gelling so far this season, but they always have the short field, and they have a Super Bowl level defense. Right now, the Broncos are averaging 20.3 points a game. They are giving up 17.9. So they have the defense. Perhaps they can force Mahomes into some turnovers. Right now, he has 9 interceptions and only 11 touchdowns. So he is turnover prone this season. But you obviously never want to underestimate Patrick Mahomes. He can light it up at any point. If they need to, he can go off. They've had a lot of injuries, Rice, Pacheco, but they still have the weapons. Hunt, Worthy, Kelsey. Chiefs are averaging 25.4, throwing for 230, running for 122, and that elite defense giving up 18.4. But it's the quarterback sacks, and they only give up 83.9 rush yards per game. Denver needs the running game to assist their offense. If the Chiefs take it from them, it's going to be a long day. I have Kansas City winning this one 27-17. And then on Fox at 1 p.m., the 6-3 Atlanta Falcons versus the 2-7 New Orleans Saints, riding a 7-game losing streak. They actually started out the year 2-0. They've dropped 7 straight since then. They fired Dennis Allen. Things have completely gone off the rails. They don't have a bad roster by any means, but they're never on the same page together. Olave was banged up this past week. The Falcons have a 51.8% chance to win. 4-point favorites. The over-under is 46.5. You don't want to underestimate the Saints' talent here because they don't have a bad roster, but they have not gotten it together the whole season outside of those first 2 games. The Falcons offense is completely gelling right now. Kirk Cousins is getting better every single game because he's getting more and more comfortable in this scheme and this system with this new team, and they have a loaded offensive roster. So many weapons at multiple different positions. Cousins, Robinson, Algier, Mooney, Pitts, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Their defense has some question marks, but the offense can get into a shootout with anyone. Saints, they have Kamara, they have Olave, but Olave is probably not going to be playing here. The Falcons are averaging 24.6, throwing for 246, running for 118. That defense is giving up 24. Saints, they're averaging 23 points a game. They got Carr back, but it did not help them this past week. They are giving up 25.4 points a game. This is the type of game that the Saints steal one on. They get the upset win here. This is the NFL. But the Falcons' offense, to me, is gelling too much. I don't know if the Saints are capable of getting into a shootout. Falcons win this one 28-20. And then Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox, the 4-4 San Francisco 49ers versus the 4-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This would have been a really good team, but we were robbed of it. Evans got hurt. Godwin was leading the NFL in receptions. He's out for the season. Now, Tampa Bay has been completely shredded in their wide receiver core, yet they continue to move the ball. They continue to score. Baker Mayfield leading the NFL in passing. Even without his primary weapons, they're still finding ways to score, but San Francisco is going to make that really tough. San Francisco 6-point favorites. The over-under is 50.5. And the 49ers have a 54% chance to win this game. The 49ers probably the most talented top-to-bottom roster in the NFL when they're healthy. The problem has been they haven't been healthy the whole season. McCaffrey was on the field playing this week, though, in practice. Does that mean he's going to play Sunday? I don't know, but he might be taking a couple steps, getting closer to getting back on the field. Right now, Purdy closing in on 2,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 picks. Baker Mayfield, 2,400 yards, 23 touchdowns, 9 picks. San Francisco averages 26.3, throwing for 253, running for 159. That defense giving up 22.8 points a game. Tampa Bay, they average 28.8. They throw for 251. They run for 127. A pretty bad defense giving up 26.8. Even without their weapons, Baker Mayfield will make this game competitive, will keep it close through the first 3 quarters. Mayfield, Irving, but San Francisco and their talent, Mason, Kittle, Debo, those guys are going to step up. They're going to have big games. Their defense is going to have a good game here. I have San Francisco winning this one 26-17 and taking it in the fourth quarter. And then we're looking at CBS at 1 p.m., 6-2 Pittsburgh Steelers versus 7-2 Washington. 2 really impressive wins in the last 2 games. Washington right now has a 54% chance to win this game. They are the favorites at home, 2.5-point favorites. The over-under here is 44.5. With the Steelers, this is a Mike Tomlin team. It's taken on his personality. They run the ball. They play special teams. They play elite playoff Super Bowl caliber defense. They force turnovers. They shut down the run game. They get pressure on quarterbacks. They generate turnovers. That's what they do. They're going to bring that defense with them to Washington. Right now, Pitt, they have Russell Wilson. They have Justin Fields, but Wilson will be starting, closing out 600 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. They're averaging 23.4, running for 190. Throwing for 190, running for 138, but that defense only giving up 14.9 points a game, only 90 rushing yards. Washington is going to have to challenge the Steelers vertically through the air, but will Daniels have time to throw the ball? They're going to try to keep him in that pocket, force him to have to throw the ball deep. Will he cave under that pressure? Right now, he's having a great season so far. Daniels closing on 2,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. They're averaging 29.2, a top 3 offense. They're giving up 21 points a game. Lots of playmakers here for Washington. Daniels, Robinson Jr., Terry. Expect a steady dose of Najee Harris for the Steelers. Like I was saying, they're going to run the ball downhill. They have Pickens for 3rd downs. I have the Steelers getting the upset here. Their defense wins the game. Defense travels. They win it 20-17. And then on Fox at 1 p.m., the 6-2 Minnesota Vikings, who have been cruising so far this season, playing the 2-7 Jacksonville Jaguars, who actually have 2 back-to-back really close losses where they had the game when Trevor Lawrence had a turnover to end the game. Right now, the Vikings have a 59% chance to win this game, 7-point favorites. The over-under here is 44.5. Minnesota is cruising right now, a top 10 offense, top 10 defense. They're averaging 26-point run, throwing for 222, running for 114. That defense only gives up 18.8 a game, one of the best rush defenses in the NFL, giving up 81.9 yards per game. They have the playmakers. They have Sam Darnold, who's having a great season so far, 1,900 yards, 17 touchdowns, 7 picks. They have Jones at running back. They have Justin Jefferson, a top 3 wide receiver, if not the number 1 wideout in the NFL. For Jacksonville, they've actually been moving the ball on offense the last, I'd say, 3 to 4 games, but it's their defense which just continues to stink. They're averaging 21.7 points a game, throwing for 207, running for 113, but they're giving up 28 points every game, 264.3 through the air, a bottom 5 secondary in the NFL right now. They have some playmakers. They have Lawrence, they have Bigsby, they have Thomas Jr., they have Kirk, they have a young wide receiver core. But Trevor Lawrence, how's he going to step up when the game matters most? Fourth quarter, 1 possession game. Keep the turnovers down. Take what the defense gives you. He keeps trying to force things. I have the Vikings winning this one, 28-21. Then at 4:05 p.m. on Fox, we have the 2-6 Tennessee Titans. Whether it's Will Levis, Rudolph, doesn't really matter. They don't have a good offense. I think Rudolph gives you the better chance to win a game, but still neither of them are the answer at the quarterback position. They'll be playing the 5-3 LA Chargers, who have a 66.5% chance to win this game. They are 7.5-point favorites. The over-under is 38.5. This is going to be a lower scoring game. For the Titans, they're averaging 17.5, throwing for 170.8, running for 125.6. Their defense is bottom 10, giving up 26.6 points a game, but they don't give up that much yardage per game. It's the fact that their offense has so many turnovers on their own side of the field. That's where a lot of those points come from. For the Chargers, just like the Steelers, this is a Harbaugh taken on personality here. They run, they play special teams, they play elite defense. They have the best statistical defense in the NFL. Justin Herbert finally lit things up through the air this past game. He's been kind of conservative so far this season, but it's just because they haven't needed it. He's closing on 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns, only 1 pick. They're averaging 19.9, throwing for 200, running for 115. That defense only gives up 12 0.6 points a game. That is the number one defense. Expect Dobbins to be the main guy getting the ball this game, but Herbert's going to be going vertical more and more as they need him. I have the Chargers winning this game rather comfortably, 24-13. And then on CBS at 4:25, the 6-2 Philadelphia Eagles, who are really cruising right now, versus the 3-5 Dallas Cowboys, who have completely fallen off the rails. This is a bad team. It's almost time to just have a fire sale here and get a bunch of draft picks. Right now, the Eagles have a 59.3% chance to win this game. They are 7-point favorites. The over-under is 43.5. The Eagles, since the second half of last season, a lot of turnover problems that did plague them second half this past game. But for the most part, they've been having a pretty clean season offensively, and their defense has really stepped up this year. Hurts closing in on 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 picks. They average 24.6, throwing for 202, running for 175, but they're only giving up 19.4 points a game. One of the better offensive rosters. Hurts, Barkley, Smith, Brown, multiple ways they can beat you. They can beat you going vertically. They can beat you with their rushing attack. They have a top 3 rushing team in the NFL right now. They have no problems lining up and just running down your throat. And Dallas can't stop anyone right now. They have the second worst defense in the NFL. They average 21.4. They only run for 82 yards a game. That is the worst in the NFL. That used to be their strength. O-line, run game, defense. They're all bad right now. And they're giving up 28.1 points a game. That's not going to cut it. Dak is out. CeeDee Lamb is out. I have the Eagles winning this one 30-17. And then on CBS at 4:25, we have the 3-6 New York Jets, who got a win this past game. They'll be playing the 5-4 Cardinals. Props to the Cardinals having a really strong season so far. They are kind of a Jekyll Hyde team. Play a good game, then the next week they have a bad game. They had a good game this past weekend, so what version of the Cardinals shows up this week? Cardinals have been the favorite the whole week. I've been saying that makes no sense. I was picking the Jets the whole time. Finally, that spread has moved. The Jets are now 1.5-point favorites. The over-under is 46.5, so it kind of moved the way that we were seeing it, but the Cardinals have a 50.3% chance to win this game. This game's a 50-50, practically a pick 'em. Jets, Rodgers having a pretty decent so far the last few games because they picked up Adams, a veteran wide receiver for third down, someone that he's familiar with. They're averaging 19 a game, throwing for 221, running for 87.7. They got to get the rushing yards up, but they have that top 10 defense, giving up 20.3 points a game. Cardinals are lighting it up on offense. Kyler Murray, 1,800 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's also ran for, I think, 3 or 4 touchdowns, and right now, they're averaging 23 points a game, throwing for 190, running for 150, giving up 23.8 points a game. The biggest issue for them on defense is their pass rush. They have a lot of issues getting pressure on the quarterbacks. Can they force the veteran Rodgers into some mistakes? No matter what, the Jets have that defense that they're going to be taking with them to Arizona. I have the Jets winning this one 24-20. And then the final Sunday night game, second to last game on NBC at 8:20. This is, to me, the second best game next to the Thursday night game. We have the 7-1 Detroit Lions, who quite possibly might be the best team in the NFL right now, playing the 6-3 Houston Texans. The Lions have a 51.8% chance to win this game. They are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 48.5. The Lions, they have the best offense in the NFL, one of the best all-around rosters, offense, defense. They have the number 1 offense. They have a top 5 defense. Right now, they're going to be led by Goff, who had a pretty sloppy first 2 games, but he's back to his 2023 form, throwing for 1,900 yards, 14 touchdowns, 4 picks. Stroud closing in on 2,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4 picks. They have a really banged-up wide receiver core. They lost Diggs for the season. They've been without Collins, who was leading the NFL in receiving yards till he got hurt 4 games ago. He might start this Sunday, might not start. That question mark is a massive question mark because he's a top 5 wide receiver. Detroit, number 1 offense. They average 32.3. They throw for 217, run for 153. They're only giving up 18.5 points a game. An extremely well-rounded team. Houston, they're averaging 22.3, throwing for 222, running for 126. That defense is giving up 22.2. Looking at the Lions, there's Goff, Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown. This team is loaded. They can beat you passing the ball, running the ball. They can beat you with their defense and turnovers. Texans are capable of getting in a shootout, especially if they have a healthy Collins there. They have Mixon, Stroud, Collins. Collins might not play this Sunday. I have to go with the Lions to win this one. There's too many unknowns with the Texans right now. The Lions win this one 33-23. And finally, our final game, the Monday night game at 8:15 p.m. on ESPN. The 2-6 Miami Dolphins. They've had Tua back 2 straight games. Are they going to get their first win with Tua? They'll be playing the 4-1 LA Rams. The Rams have a 55.6% chance to win this game. 1 point favorites. The over-under is 50.5. This game is a 50-50. It is practically a pick 'em as well. The Dolphins are a completely different team on offense with Tua. Without Tua, they were statistically the worst offense in the NFL. Now they have a top 5 offense talent-wise, but they have to continue to move the ball because their defense is giving up a lot of points. This game can turn into a shootout. Same thing for the Rams. Cooper Kupp back, Nakua back. That completely changed this offense now with Atwell, Williams, the veteran Stafford. They can get in a shootout with anyone. They can win any type of shootout game, especially if they have the ball last. Right now, Tua closing in on 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks. Stafford, 2,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 6 picks. The Dolphins are averaging 15.5, but a lot of that was without Tua. They're throwing for 191. They're running for 134. Their defense is giving up 23.4. For the Rams, they're averaging 21.3. Throwing for 232, running for 97. Their defense is giving up 24.3. The defenses are practically even. I think this game is actually going to come down to the team's defense in the fourth quarter. Who gets a stop when you need it? These are two offensively focused teams. Two teams that can light it up when they're fully healthy. They're both healthy right now. So it is going to be a shootout potentially, but there's going to be a defense that gets a stop or gets a turnover fourth quarter. I have it being the Dolphins getting the upset win here, taking this one 27-23. Look for Waddle and Hill to have a big day. So that's our quick picks, a quick breakdown of all of our NFL Week 10 games for the 2024 season. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments about these games or anything else, please drop it below, and I will respond. Thank you.